What is going on YouTube? Running Gun Sports back here with another video. Today is our weekly college football news update, and we just released our NFL mock draft video. If you have not gone and checked that out, please go check that out. Put a lot of time and effort into our mock draft, and so yeah, please go check that out. Leave a like down on that video and leave a like on this video as well if you get the chance, and subscribe and share this to your friends who love college football. Follow our social media pages at runandgun_sports on Instagram and at runandgunsports on TikTok. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. Jacoby Matthews, five-star safety, announces his commitment to LSU. LSU, a huge five-star pickup there from Jacoby Matthews, has been highly coveted in his whole entire recruiting process, and LSU lands him a big pickup for them. Four-star wide receiver Xavier Worthy commits to Texas. Four-star athlete Deshaun McCullough joins his two brothers DeHay and Dylan. The second, we talked about DeHay last weekend, and his dad, who is the assistant head coach and running backs coach at the University of Indiana. Deshaun McCullough has committed to Indiana. So three McCullough brothers and their dad at the University of Indiana. So pretty cool for that whole McCullough family to all be at the same college at the same time and to be very talented football players. So congrats to the McCullough family. The Kansas football program has not had a football coach in 45 plus days since Les Miles has left. Right now, the possible candidates are Lance Leopold, Buffalo head coach; Willie Fritz, Tulane head coach; Jeff Monken, Army head coach; Skip Holtz, Louisiana Tech head coach; and Mike Elko, Texas A&M defensive coordinator. And so right now we're going to kind of talk about what those possible candidates, those are their final guys, I guess, in their process of getting a new head coach. But Kansas not having a new head coaching job or a new head coach since 45 plus days, as I just mentioned, is honestly extremely embarrassing. And for a Power 5 team, it's really embarrassing. And obviously, Kansas is not a football school. I mean, they're way more of a basketball school. But I just don't get where the lack of pride is there. I mean, you're a Power 5 school. You're a Division 1 school. You got to take pride in that. And for them to not hire a head coach in that long, in my opinion, is just ridiculously embarrassing. And I'd be ashamed to be a part of the Kansas football program, because you have teams, a lot of teams have already played their spring football games, and Kansas doesn't even have a head coach. And so, I mean, they're already not that good of a football team as it is, but they're going to be extremely behind now. And with no head coach, no one's going to commit there, not knowing who the coach is going to be. So it's really hurting the football program all around, and just unfortunate there. But as I said, let's talk about the possible candidates for the coaching position. Lance Leopold from Buffalo. In 2020, the Buffalo Bulls had a great season. They went 5-0 in their conference, 6-1 overall. Jarrett Patterson had 600 rushing yards one game, and 8 touchdowns. Just an unreal game that put really Buffalo on the map this year, but finished number 25 in the country. That's a huge year for Buffalo, and very impressive season that Lance Leopold put together. So I think that honestly would be a very good hire. Kansas is, as I mentioned, not the greatest football program tradition, but they also are a Power 5 team. But a guy like Lance Leopold or Willie Fritz or Skip Holtz, all those are smaller schools compared to a Power 5 team. But Kansas really is not a big Power 5 team. Obviously they're a Power 5 team means you're one of the best colleges, but they're one of the worst in the Power 5. So basically, the Buffalo Bulls were a top group of 5 team last year, and so I think that Lance Leopold could really make the transition from group of 5 to Power 5 without having a problem. Finished his team at 25 in the country, a really great season, and I think that would be a very good fit for the Kansas Jayhawks to sign Lance Leopold, and it sounds like they are very interested in him. But as well as they're also interested in Lance Leopold, they are also looking at Willie Fritz, the Tulane head coach, 3-5 in the conference last year, and a 6-6 overall record. And I don't really see what they're looking at him for. I mean, it shocks me that they want a 6-6 coach at a Group of 5 level team, and but they're in a Power 5, so they're playing a way tougher schedule. And so I don't know. I don't really agree with that hire if they made it as much as I would with the Lance Leopold. Jeff Monken, the Army head coach, they went 9-3 last year, obviously in FBS independent. They do not play any conference games, but they went 9-3, had a great year, just finished outside of the top 25 in as far as rankings, just due to their schedule not being as tough. But they had a very good season. Jeff Monken's been around for a while. He knows what he's doing, and I think he could really come in and be great with the Kansas Jayhawks. And I think that really being at a program like Army where they take tradition and discipline so seriously, he could come in and give that team a good amount of discipline and literally, I think, make Kansas a good contender in the Big 12 and hopefully get that team back to below average. And they've been really terrible the last couple of years, losing to Coastal Carolina, which normally is a big deal to lose to Coastal Carolina. But truthfully, Coastal Carolina has been very good these past years, especially last year, only losing one game to their rivals, really, Liberty Red Flames. So Skip Holtz, another candidate, Louisiana Tech head coach. 2020 went 5-5, 4-2 in the conference, and really another candidate that is in the conversation that really shouldn't be in the conversation at all. Really confuses me, quite honestly. And 5-5 is really not that good, but 4-2 in the conference, that is really promising, honestly. And that's why I would, if I was to rank these guys at rank these candidates that they're looking at right now, and I would definitely rank Skip Holtz above Willie Fritz just because of the better conference record. If you can win your conference game, most of your conference games are in your or most of the season games you play are in conference, and obviously it shows only one of their win came outside of the conference, so they won most of their conference games, and it really matters to win your conference games at the FBS level, Power 5 level, especially in a Big 12 team conference where you don't play any, or you play very few out of conference scheduled games, and the games that you do play that are out of conference tend to be really cupcake games against very smaller schools, FCS schools. And so I think that that's why Skip Holtz might be looked at because of a strong conference presence, but other than that, I don't really see the other interest in him. Mike Elko, Texas A&M defensive coordinator in 2020, led the team to a 9-1 season, was snubbed of the playoffs in my opinion. I don't think Ohio State nor Notre Dame should have been in the playoffs over Texas A&M. Texas A&M had a 9-1 record, played 3 more games than Ohio State did at the end of the season, ranked 5th in the country at the end. Texas A&M was a very good football team last year. They're losing a lot of their talent, Kellen Mond, but they do have Isaiah Spiller and Jalen Wademeyer coming back. So I don't think it's too big of a loss for them, but also at the same time, they're going to have to fill in the quarterback position, and that's going to be some big shoes to fill. It seemed like Kellen Mond was around Texas A&M forever. But Mike Elko, I think he's not, I don't think that Texas A&M really had that strong of a defense last year at all, but I think that the experience at the Power 5 level at such a successful team, being around Jimbo Fisher, one of the greatest coaches right now in college football. He's won a national title before. Jimbo Fisher knows a lot of his stuff, and I think that just being around that type of guy is really going to help your experience as a coaching and really help you when you're trying to look for head coaching jobs. But I don't think that that's the greatest choice for Kansas. I just think that it wouldn't be the greatest fit, but they all are pretty good candidates besides Willie Fritz and Skip Holtz. I think that I'll rank these guys right now, I think that Lance Leopold, the current Buffalo head coach, is number 1. Number 2, Jeff Monken. number 3, Mike Elko, and number 4, Skip Holt, and then number 5, I have Willie Fritz. 3-5 conference record is just not going to get it done. If you lose your conference games, you're really going to do. If you lose a lot of your conference games, you're really not going to do anything good. And so that's why I have Willie Fritz at the bottom, especially when you're playing a lot tougher teams than Tulane is used to facing. Moving on now, the NCAA has released new overtime rules. After the 2 overtimes and there's not a, and the game is still tied, it will move on to a, instead of it originally being the teams would have to go for a 2-point conversion. Now teams will go into a 2-point conversion shootout, which means teams will take turns going for it on the 2-yard line conversion, and if one team scores and the other team cannot answer, they win. And so it's pretty simple. In my opinion on it, I don't think it's a very good rule, and it just doesn't. I think that 2 overtimes is a little soon. I think maybe after 5 overtimes, because we rarely see that happen, that it could work well. But really, after 2 is too short. And if there's a good matchup, there's some games that will go to 2 overtimes, and we'll see a shootout or a 2-point conversion shootout. And so I think it'll be interesting to see if we do get a game like that next year. That is going to wrap it up for today's video. If you guys have not already, please leave a like down below, subscribe, and share this to your friends. Thank you.